So let me start with the next challenge. It's not visible properly. Just this is a new challenge lab that's about creation of an database and RDS database and migrating the database which is existing, which is running in EC2 instance to this particular RDS database. That is what our task which we are going to perform over here. So the this is the lab view which is currently been there. It is a public subnet. We have a EC2 instance which has a MariaDB and database created over here. So what we are to do now, we are going to shift this MariaDB from an public subnet to an private subnet. And once we are shifted, the outcome which we are going to look over here, it will be like an RDS MariaDB instance is being created. So the EC2 instance which is currently running for this particular MariaDB, we are going to shift then to an private subnet and an instance from an RDS. That is what the task we have to perform. So I have already been started over here till about creation of an the database. So if you see here, I just go to the database, I just ask for the create database, and I entered all the items based upon the things which are selected. So if you go in a challenge lab, so here we have to select a standard create, then we have to select a MariaDB, and after the selection of a MariaDB, we have to select from the channels what the all the configuration which they have given, like an dev test. Then we have to select an dev test, then give the database identifier as suppose and cafe database. So that is what database cafe database we have to select. Then an instance we have to select from bursty table, that is a T class, that is a T3 macro. Then it's a general purpose, like it's a 20 GB only they have said, so it is enable auto scaling, we have to disable. Then under the lab VPC, we have to select the lab DB subnet as they are told. Then the security group which is existing default you have to remove, and you have to select and DBSG is been selected. Sorry, so we have selected the DBSG. A zone, that is the first is zone 1 we have to select. Then 3306 should be an port number. Enhanced monitoring is not supported over here. So additional configurations like and database name by default it will be possible. No backups. KMS nothing. No more change over here. So we have to just see to it that enable automated backup, that should be disabled. That is again one of the important point about the backup automated. And then we click on create database. So already I had done this all stuff. So if I go to an database, yes, you can see that it successfully created the cafe database. So I will just go to this particular database. Yeah, you can see here the cafe database is successfully created over here. Then I have to check that whether the instance, the application connected with this particular database is running properly or not. So I have opened the EC2 instance where the cafe server is already running. I just click over the cafe server and try to open this particular website. So that's copy paste this particular IP address, uh, paste it and write down as cafe. So you can select over here and write down next to it as cafe. If it will be should be non-secure. If it is HTTPS, you have to convert to an HTTP. Then you can see to an order history. You can add the menus whatever you want, that chocolate, chocolate chip, whatever, something randomly I'm selecting, muffin I'm selecting, and just I can create an order list. So it is perfectly working. You can able to see this particular order which has been selected. It is keep on adding. So till this point we have done this stuff. Now let me go for an RDS and let's see the further process for the part 2. So we have reached, yeah, so we can say now till the point we have created this database, we have analyzed the database is running perfectly. So we have checked that public IP I have copied and the cafe instance is running properly. Order information is keep on updating. So let me go for connect to an AWS System Manager, the cafe server session we are going to see, and then we have to perform some particular operations about and creating an instance for an EC2 user and check that how we can able to access this particular user. So that is what the second task which we have to perform over here. So let's start with the next part of this our operation. We have to go to the System Manager and then we have to check the session that is for the cafe server instance running, and we have to start a session and run these following commands on the prompt and see to it that EC2 user is working properly. So this should be seen as a screen. So let me go over the lab window. So I will just go to the lab window and let me go to an EC2 instance. I will just ask for creation of an one more duplicate tab, and I will go to an system manager from this tab. So I will just type here as SYS system manager. So it's coming directly. So we will go to the system manager. Then let's allow the system manager. So then go to an systems manager. Then we go to an sessions manager over here. Let me check the session manager. Then let's allow it to open. We'll try to start a session for the cafe server. So we'll say for this running instance of the EC2, we'll start a session here, over which we have to copy paste the commands which they have given in our lab and see that it's working perfectly. So I will just paste and ask this command. So it has been working perfectly. So all the commands are executed as per they have told. So there, this is what we can say the current task they have asked to perform. So let me check it out. What is their requirement till this point? So if you can say now you have to execute this command and you can go to ncd and we can go to this particular home and EC2 user. So EC2 user is been properly been configured. So now what we have to do, exporting the data from this old database and establish a connection to a new database. That is what the next task which we want to achieve in this particular challenge. Yeah, so let me proceed for the next task. What they say is that is exploring the currently what we have done is created a new RDS instance. So we can move to the next like in cafe database migration plan. So for that first task is check the working of with the database with the EC2 instance. So for that we have to check that what is the version of this MySQL, whether it is running properly or not. So I will just copy paste this particular stuff and try to check in our console, a terminal window at our. I will just go to the terminal window and try to see that whether it is running properly or not. So it has been there. So let me check about the Microsoft version. So that is 10.2.38. That is the MariaDB is perfectly working for us. So then we go to an AWS system manager and check in a parameter store that we have to take a password for this particular accessing a database. So I will just go over the AWS manager, then I will go to an the parameter store. From the parameter store, we have to check. Let allow it to open the cafe DB. So cafe DB password. I will just say that view details. So this is what our password. So I will just copy paste this particular password with me and let try to access this from our window. So what they say that in the lab they are given now, whenever you get that particular password, then you go to an MySQL root and try to check the connectivity with the MySQL database from the prompt. So at the prompt I will try to now access, yeah, I will just try to paste root p. So it will going to ask me the password, that last copied password I will just paste over and check that whether I am able to access it. That, yeah, so we have gone into an MariaDB, it's successful, we can able to see. So we can see like and show database. So we try to check something. Just a minute, just allow me to show database is, sorry. So it's a now database, it's databases. So we can see like and check here. So you can see the cafe now, cafe DB database is been available over here, which we have to migrate to an RDS. So currently it is in MariaDB, where it is running as a EC2 instance. So under EC2 user it has been created and EC2 instance is accessing this MariaDB. Now we have to move it to migrate it to an RDS. That is what the task we have to perform for this particular. So we try to check now the contents of this particular database by using it. So we will go to say as use. I will just say as use cafe. What's the name of the database? Yeah, cafe underscore db. Then show tables. Something wrong. So let's see like and show. Yeah, I not enter the. Sorry, I had just aborted and gone back, so I have to again go to that particular MySQL root B, and I have to be in that MariaDB. So allow me over here to paste. Paste the password. P. I will give paste the password. I will enter again. Then show data databases. Semicolon. You can see the cafe DB. I will say use cafe underscore DB. Yeah, we are in a cafe DB now, so you can check now here we are in a cafe DB. Database has been changed. I will say like an show tables, show tables. Yeah, so order. So we will try to have a check of like whatever the orders we has given, we have seen from the window browser whether it is been available over here or not. So select star. So I will try to see the records from the order item. Select star from the order item. Item. So let me check whether it is showing error in syntax. Select star. So I will just copy paste. I will not take a risk. There. Let me check. Yeah, so you can check now here. The ordered item are being recorded over here. So currently the last one which I have recorded, that is on 1-4, you can see that particular order has been recorded. So it has been perfectly fine. It is working. All the records are capturing over here. So the task we have completed. Now we exit from here and go to an MySQL dump command by which we try to capture the contents of this particular database, try to have this database, and then we try to import this database into an RDS. That is what the next task which we are going to perform. So now we are seeing that the orders have been perfectly showing. So we have to exit from this particular client now, and then we create a dump of this particular file of this particular is what that name, I forget the name of it. That is, yeah. So that is CafeDB, and we try to create it into and by using MySQL dump and see the contents whether it has been totally dump. And this file later on we use with the RDS for importing this particular database. That is what the next task we have to perform. So let me try to do this with our task. So let's go to our window and try to perform the task. So I will say like exit. Then I will use the mydump command, which they will MySQL dump. So let's see about it. So they ask for the password. The password which we have copy pasted from the notepad. I will just try to paste it. So it's been created. Let's check whether it has been there. So you can see now here cafedbdump.sql has been created. So you can see the content of that cafedbdump.sql. So you can see that all the tables we can been created with the product group and everything you can see about what are the different atoms been available. So full structure will be available over here. Now we will use this file to import it into an RDS. That is what the next task they have said about it. So the next task which they have told us, that is about working with an RDS. We have to go to an RDS. We have to go to a service console of the RDS and try to import this particular database. Before that, there are some questions which we have to attempt for this. So I will keep it up to you to give the answer of this particular questions. I will not give the answers in the video. So let's proceed ahead with what next task. We are after the answering the questions. We have to go for establishing a network connection from the terminal running on EC2 instance to a new RDS instance. So for that, some tips they are given how we can proceed ahead. So if you click over here, you can get an command line command by which you can able to have a establish a connection with it. So try to do that. So where the RDS point, where we can find this RDS point. So we can go to the our allow me to go to an cafe that is the instance from where we can able to get an RDS endpoint, and then we will proceed ahead with the passwords and all of the stuff. So let me go with the lab. So allow me to go to the lab session. and in the lab session I will go to the database. So you can see in the database, sorry, it's been there only. So you can copy paste this endpoint. So I will just keep it in the notepad about this endpoint, and I will copy paste the command which they are given in the lab. MySQL till the host I will copy paste, and next I will paste. Okay, I will just go to yeah. So I will just say as clear and paste the command. Then next to it I will paste the endpoint address of our cafe database. So I will just allow me to paste it. It will ask for the password, so that is the cafe password which we have configured while creation of a database for the RDS, that I will try to paste and connect. So it is not connecting. What's the reason why it is not connecting? That is, and the if you go to our lab, they had told that it is not possible to connect because you have not configured the proper security policy for it. So second one, so you can check that there is a database TCP. So MySQL client software tries to connect with that particular database, so it will not allow. So you have to allow all the resources the access to this particular 3306. So that what the next we are going to do. So all traffic of the TCP for the EC2 instance to the database has to be there. So we'll try to do a session manager, try, see the terminal it is not been possible. So we'll go on doing this particular stuff now. So let me go to a lab mode. So allow me to go to the lab. We will go to the lab window and we'll go to an EC2 instance. You can see the security where the security group in there. We'll go to the details. Just a minute. RDS. Yeah. So this is a security group in the cafe database. We'll just go to this particular group. So allow me to go to this particular group, security. And if you check over here, so there is no inbound rules been configured. Let me check it inbound no config. So we'll try to add the inbound rule. So we'll say that add the rule for MySQL Aura 3306, that is custom SG. I will just type SG. So this is cafe SG. We have to add, and I will just say that save rules. So I will just go to our instance which is running and try to perform this task. We can't set up. So I will just go here and try to have a setup again. I will just copy paste the password, and hopefully this time, yes, we are able to connect to an MariaDB. This is what we can say the RDS version of the MariaDB, if you can observe over here, which we have connected to this particular terminal. So we are successfully able to open this task. So let me go to the task window what they have said, and we are able to achieve that particular task. Let's proceed ahead for importing which were created in one of the file in SQL, that cafe database SQL file. We try to import it now. So if you check over here, that's I had done like an show databases. You can see that the cafe database is not there. So that's definitely observe we have not yet imported that SQL file which we have created by using the MySQL dump. So that's a pending stuff. So let me go to the lab window and let's see what the next stuff they are said over here. So in the lab window, we are till the point we are able to go to this particular DB instance. Why it is in there? I'm stuck with that. I don't know what's up. Yeah. कहाँ पे है? Yeah. So let we go over here. We have checked that there is no cafe DB has been created. So now we have to import that particular data and do this creation or migration from and the public subnet to an private subnet. So that is what the next command which they are stored. So if you observe that cafe dump SQL which has been created previously, we are going to try to import it into our RDS endpoint. So this is the RDS endpoint address which we have copy pasted over here, that you have to paste over here, and a password which has been which has been copy pasted in Notepad. We have to use it again over here. There are the two things we have to do at this particular point. So let's proceed with the challenge which they are given now here. Next, we have to import the data. So importing is possible using this particular RDS endpoint. So for that, you have to first exit from it, and this operation will be like and consider as exported the data from the database from the cafe application which currently running to this particular RDS application. So here's what the command which we have to perform. So I will just copy paste till the host and proceed ahead with the lab session. We'll just check where it is, where the lab session is there. Yeah. So I will just say as exit from here. So we are in a EC2 instance now. So I will just copy paste. I will clear first and copy paste the command for MySQL admin and PP host. So the endpoint address I have to copy paste over here, and okay, and then ask to import it from and MySQL, sorry, that CafeDB SQL file. So I will just paste and enter. It asks for the password. So we will give the cafe password. So what is the cafe password? That is RE start 9. That is what the cafe password. We'll try to give and check password using password. Yes. Again, access denied for user. Should not give access denied. Just check it again with the password. We have wrongly selected. Yeah, it's been there. So it has been perfectly working now. No, it is not been access denied again. I will just check with the password of cafe word. Yeah, it's working perfectly now. So let me check whether it has been created or not properly. So to connect to an RDS database, let's have a command and check whether it has been properly created or not. Next to it, we have to write our endpoint address for the cafe DB from RDS. So the password for the RDS we have to select now. Whatever, something goes wrong. Just try to check again. Might be not selected it properly. What's the issue? I'll try to connect. What's it as RDS? Yeah, so we are in MariaDB about the RDS. We have been now here. So let me check about the show databases. Yeah, so you can see now the cafe DB is been there. So I will just check use cafe underscore DB. So we are in the cafe DB. We can see the records like a show tables to check whether it has been there. So you can see the order item, that product group, everything has been there. So all the tables also been there. So that's we are just verified from it. Even we can see the contents like orders been proper or not. So I will just check whether the order history been also been there. So you can check that all the orders which has been given, the last order of been also visible over here. So all the data are properly been collected over here. So let me go to an challenge now. Let me see where we are. So we have seen it's working perfectly working. So we have to exit from RDS now. We have to change that cafe application to connect to an RDS database. So that is what the next task which we have to perform. So let's proceed for the next task, that is of connecting a cafe application with the new database. So we have to go with the parameter store and do this particular activity. So some hints they are given over here. So we have to check that application is connected and use this particular cafe PHP where the public IP page. So you can check here that go to the parameter store. You have to check the RDS endpoint value. These all things we have to change. So let's try to do this with our lab. So let me go to the lab window and I will go to the parameter. So first we have to change cafe DB password. Let me go to the edit. So this start new we have to edit now with our newly created database password and do the save changes. Then we go with the DB URL and I will say that edit. So this we have to change from EC2 to our RDS instance which we have copy pasted. So I will just save the changes for it. So that's what we have done, the connection of this particular new database with this application, and we have to test whether it is working properly or not. So after this, yeah, one thing we forget about that URL we had changed. We had done that particular one. Go to the parameter store. Let one point is a DB user which we are seeing it is in a root, but we have configured that name for DB user as a admin. So that change we have to do over here. I forget to do that. All other things are not required to be changed. So if you go in an the challenge lab window, you can see now all the activities we have done. So currency, DB name, time zone is not required to be changed. Then we have to stop the instance of the EC2 over here. So I will just go to the EC2 and our terminal to stop the instance. So I am at MariaDB. I will say like an exit from here. Then at EC2 instance, I will ask him to stop the MariaDB service. So it is been stopped now. So that the task we have completed about EC2 instance we have stopped. We have connected with the application with the RDS, and now we have to just verify that whether it is properly working or not. So let me verify whether it is properly been configured or not. So I will just try to refresh and check. EC2 instance is not running. RDS it has been connected. So I will just go to an menu or home items. I will check the order history. That's the last one which the I selected Persia and muffins and it is showing so it is perfectly working. So after this, you can go to our lab and try to submit it. So we'll go to the lab window. So what's the next task? So I think so it has been completed now. Choose order. Your latest order has been there. Everything is being shown. So we can now happy and we can submit this our work. So I will just ask to submit our work. So allow it to get submitted, and that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me go for the next challenge of I don't think so. What will be the next challenge for us is about a load balancing. So that's it for now. Thank you. Thank you very much.